All right, friends, in studio with us, I am excited to have this man. He is caring. He is passionate. He's a diehard Red Hawks fan and not necessarily a pickled egg lover like me.
No, I'm not.
Oh, for shame. We have Morgan Almber joining us. And Morgan, you don't work with the Village Family Service anymore, but you used to, right?
I did, Eric. For the last 8 years, we've put on a first-time homebuyers course, which I think is why you brought me in here today, is to visit a little bit about that.
We could talk about a lot of things. You're a property manager, which is a whole other bag of worms.
It sure is. It sure is. And so I did the first-time homebuyer class for 8 years, as you know, and you were a guest at that class many, many times.
And so you found that over the course of 8 years, there were people in the community continuing to come to you on a regular basis saying, help us figure out how to buy a house, but to do it wisely, to get fully educated across the board. What was your sales pitch and your sales shtick, why people would actually come to this class?
Well, I don't know if we necessarily had a sales shtick, but we did, knowledge
That's fun
is...
to say, though, isn't it?
It is a fun word to say.
Shtick. Yeah, good.
And we did find out that knowledge is power. And all over the community, people that are involved in the home buying process, encouraged people to come to the class because it made the transaction so much smoother. Anytime you have an educated buyer, they know what's going on, and everything just flowed a lot more smoothly in the whole process.
And so where we find ourselves now, Morgan, is you're not employed with the Village anymore. You moved on to a new opportunity, but you've still helped out with the Village home buying courses for the last few months, right?
Absolutely.
But what's happening now? The Village, unfortunately, from what I understand, has lost their funding.
We sure did. They lost the funding for the homebuyer course. And so, unfortunately, it was needed in the community, but we were unable to continue to provide it.
And what a bummer, because I honestly know literally hundreds of people that have gone through the course. You would do the course twice a month, and you would get anywhere from 20 to 40 people at each class.
Each class, yes,
So
sir.
you're talking 40 to 80 people a month coming to get educated on buying a home.
Absolutely. And now there's, at this moment in time, there is no class offered.
Well, and there's little things popping up here and there. I want to make sure that people understand that there are opportunities. But we've decided at Hatch Realty to come in and to take this as a chance to educate people on how to buy a home properly. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or a 10th-time home buyer, there's a lot to learn. So Morgan, what would you say to people who are maybe on the fence right now, saying, I can figure out buying a house on my own. I don't need to go to a class like this?
Well, there's probably a lot of things we could figure out on our own, but it would probably consume a lot of time. Here at Streamlined, the class is free.
Oh, full
keyword
free. That's right.
Keyword
full free.
free.
Yeah.
And you can get exposed to a variety of different professionals that you'll run into in this home buying process, and it'll help make the process go like you want it to go.
Yeah, we sure hope so. We think you said knowledge is power, and I think that's spot on, Morgan. Even on top of that, the old NBC adage, they had these commercials that was always "the more you know," right?
The more you know.
That little jingle.
Absolutely.
I think it's the same thing with home buying. Is the more you know, the more well equipped you're going to be for a smooth transaction. And we try to give tips on the radio all the time. This is just a half-hour show, Morgan, and we try to get one-on-one with clients. But there's only so many hours in a day. And here we're going to go 2 nights for this class. It's coming up June 27th and 28th. So realistically, it is right around the corner. This is your last chance to squeeze in and to get in for the class, because it's happening tomorrow, right?
Absolutely. Tomorrow we start, and you were nice enough to let me present at the class.
Oh, we are elated to have you come in, Morgan.
And a whole other variety of professionals will be there to talk, because lots of people, some things we've heard in the past is I just can't buy a house. I don't have $20,000 to put down. They come to the class and they learn you don't need $20,000 to put down.
It's funny. It's not just the general public that has that perception. I was talking to somebody who's close in my sphere, close in my life, somebody who I'm connected to on a regular basis. And I challenged them with the question of, when are you going to buy a house? It's about time. They said, well, I only have $20,000 in the bank, and so I can't do that yet. Morgan, how much money do you need to put down to buy a house?
I mean, with different programs that may be out there, you could get in for as little as 3% down.
Yeah, and even with some government assistance, you can get in for like a 1%, right?
Right. I've heard true stories of people having to write a check for $500 is all that came out of their pocket. and they're in a house.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig. So as we talk about this, Morgan, you brought up that we're going to have a number of professionals there. Who's traditional in the village class? Because what we're doing, we're copying you. Except what we're doing is we're bringing in dinner because we're not we're not a nonprofit, and so we've been able to find some food.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right?
That's right. That's right. That's why I'm trying to bald my head just like yours. It's great. There's a lot of shine in the studio today here, folks. So Morgan, what professionals can we expect to come in?
Well, the professionals that we bring in, myself, I will be talking a little bit about credit and the credit scoring. We typically bring in a banker, a mortgage lender, to talk about the different mortgages that are out there,
Yeah,
how much your down payment needs to be, what interest rates are, closing costs, all of that stuff. Then the next professional that comes in is typically an insurance agent. That insurance agent talks about making sure your home is insured properly, what's covered, what's not covered, how to make sure that you're protected. The next professional that typically comes is the realtor. I know that Erik used to joke we were 3 professionals deep into the class before we even started talking about actual real estate.
Right, but true, and I make that joke every time, but it's true, is that we need to make sure that you're educated in the process before you dive in.
Absolutely, and the lender really sets the foundation.
Yeah, they really do.
And the insurance person as well. And so then the realtor, they discuss their role in the whole process. You know, the offers, the counter offers, the writing, the agreement, the statistics of how the market is right now. And then typically we close it down with the home inspector.
Oh, and that's one of my favorite gigs, is the home inspector, because there's pictures, there's stories, there's some weird stuff out there in some houses.
Absolutely, and I believe the home inspector you're having this time has actually appeared on this show before.
He has, yeah. Lars Knobloch is coming in to help teach the class, as well as Brian Johnson with Valley Mortgage and Ashley Martindale with Great North Insurance, as well as Morgan joining us to talk about all things credit. Morgan, we're out of time already. Here's what I need people to do, though. They need to come and see us at the class. Tomorrow and Tuesday, June 27th and 28th, we're going to give you dinner. Class is 5:30 to 9 both nights, and you need to go to our website, livefargomoorhead.com, to sign up, so we know to have food for you and your pamphlets and booklets provided. So go to livefargomoorhead.com, sign up, get all the information, and we will see you tomorrow. Morgan, tell everybody what they can expect from you. Close us out.
What they can expect from me? Well, my role is going to be talk about, as you mentioned.
I thought you were going to say cookies.
Oh, cookies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that.
You're in charge of bringing cookies tomorrow. Morgan,
I'll bring the
thanks
cookies.
very much, folks. Sign up for the homebuyer class again at livefargomoorhead.com. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.